Let's talk about something most travelers never think about until it's too late. Not the price, not luggage, not legroom, not even which seat you got. I'm talking about the aircraft, the actual plane you're sitting in, because that matters way more than people realize. And if you've ever booked a flight thinking, whatever, as long as it gets me there, you really need to hear this. Because a few weeks ago, 260 people died in India. Flight AI 171, Ahmedabad to London, a Boeing 787. Dreamliner, supposedly one of the safest, most advanced planes in the sky. It went down 30 seconds after takeoff. No explosion, no mid-air breakup, no missile strike, just silence. Both engines cut out at once. Altitude, barely a few hundred feet. Speed, not high enough to glide. Outcome, zero chance of recovery. And what caused it? Not a bird strike, not fuel contamination, not sabotage. 2 switches, that's it. 2 manual switches that control the engine's fuel supply, placed directly under the throttle levers, where a pilot's hand naturally rests. No guard, no cover, no warning beep, no software block. Just 2 switches, flicked off, by accident. The cockpit voice recorder picked it up. One pilot says, "Why did you cut off?" The other replies, "I didn't." And then silence. That's all it took. 2 seconds of human error. 2 switches in the wrong spot. 260 lives gone. Now let that sink in. Now, here's what makes this even harder to believe. Those engine fuel switches, they're not supposed to be easy to move. They have resistance. They're mechanically firm. Not something you can just brush and knock off. But somehow, in that moment, both got flipped. Maybe fatigue, maybe a slip, maybe reaching too low during takeoff. Maybe they thought they were touching something else. Whatever it was, it only took a second. And once those switches went off, there was nothing left to save. People throw around Airbus versus Boeing like it's just 2 brands, Coke versus Pepsi. It's not. It's 2 completely different philosophies of how to keep a plane and the people inside alive. Airbus believes in software. It builds logic into the system, guardrails, fail-safes. If the pilot tries something dangerous, like pulling too hard on the yoke or stalling the aircraft or shutting off both engines mid-takeoff, the plane won't allow it. Even the engine stop switches on an Airbus are digital. They're software governed. You can't just knock them off by accident. The plane knows if you're taking off. It knows if fuel shutoff would be catastrophic. And it's programmed to say no. That's called flight envelope protection. And it's one of the smartest things in modern aviation. Airbus aircraft, like the A320neo, the A350, are designed to stop you from making a fatal mistake. Boeing? Boeing says, the pilot knows best. Don't interfere. Give full control, even if that control can kill everyone on board. It's a philosophical divide. Airbus builds aircraft that won't let humans destroy them unless you go way out of your way to override the system. Boeing builds aircraft that say, we trust you, even when maybe they shouldn't. Now here's where this gets real for you, the passenger. Because most people don't check what plane they're flying. They just look at price, timings, and maybe airline name. But here's the thing. The same aircraft can be operated by 2 different airlines and still have 2 completely different levels of risk. Let's go back to the crash. Flight AI 171. Same Dreamliner that Qatar uses. Same Dreamliner that Lufthansa, Singapore, ANA, British Airways all operate. But this one was run by Air India. And that changes everything. Because while the plane is the same, the culture in the cockpit is not. Qatar Airways, for example, their pilots don't touch the flight deck without 72 hours of rest between long hauls. Their simulators are full spec. Their CRM, cockpit resource management, is world class. One mistake and you're benched. Air India? Different story. There are repeated reports of crew fatigue, understaffing, poor rostering, pilots getting called in last minute, maintenance being deferred, checklist discipline being suggested, not enforced. None of this is secret. It's not gossip. It's public record. Air India has had runway overruns, gear collapses, mid-flight cockpit conflicts, even wrong runway landings. So now combine that with a cockpit switch flaw in the Boeing 787. You get what happened on AI-171. Let me be blunt. That flight didn't crash because one pilot made a mistake. It crashed because the system allowed a known bad design, operated by an airline with a known lax safety culture, flown by two exhausted human beings, to carry 260 passengers at full throttle, with no margin for error. So should you avoid all Boeing aircraft? No, not automatically. I'll still fly Boeing with Qatar. I'll fly Boeing with Lufthansa, Singapore, Emirates, because those airlines have shown they can manage the complexity, the training, the pressure. But Air India, let's just say, if I see Air India plus Boeing 787 Dreamliner, I close the tab. Period. Same plane. Very different risk. Now some people say, but pilots are trained. This was just a rare mistake. That's the point. Human error is expected in aviation. The whole job of safety systems is to catch that error before it becomes fatal. Would you drive a car where the ignition shut off if you brushed the cup holder? Would you trust a surgeon using a scalpel with a trigger? This isn't about perfection. It's about forgiveness. About designing systems that don't punish small mistakes with total catastrophe. That's what Airbus gets. And Boeing doesn't. Now, you want to protect yourself? Start doing this. Whenever you book a flight, look at the aircraft type. It'll say right there, Boeing 787 Dreamliner, Airbus A350-900, Airbus A320neo. If it's an Airbus A350 or A380, you're in great hands. If it's a Boeing 787, check who's flying it. If it's Air India or any airline with a shaky record, avoid it. I'm not saying panic. I'm saying be smart. I still fly. I still book tickets. But I've stopped flying blind. Sometimes I take a longer route. Sometimes I pay more. Sometimes I connect through Doha or Frankfurt. But you know what I don't do? I don't board a plane where two switches can kill me and nobody at the airline thought to fix it. Because here's the truth. Boeing needs to rethink its cockpit logic. Air India needs to rebuild its entire safety culture. And passengers, we need to stop assuming all flights are equally safe just because they took off on time. They're not. An extra $40 or $60 on your ticket isn't just a charge. It's the price of a safety margin. It's the cost of getting a better designed aircraft flown by a better run airline with a crew that's actually rested. Your seat number doesn't protect you from bad design, and your boarding pass doesn't guarantee someone's done their job. Until regulators get serious, until Boeing stops defending broken systems, until airlines put passengers ahead of profit, we are our own last line of defense. So fly smart, ask questions, check the aircraft, check the airline, and if something feels off, book something else. Because when things go wrong at 500 feet, you won't get a second chance. That's not fear. That's just facts, and your life is worth more than saving a few bucks on a cheap fare. It's worth more than a convenient nonstop.